We're going to make super smooth tahini at home. I'm using my Premiere Melanger here. I've used white hull-less sesame seeds untoasted, and I've ordered these from Amazon. The time that it takes to grind these seeds is determined by the amount of seeds you put in. So today I'm using 3 pounds of sesame seeds. Previously I've used about 1 pound and it took only a couple of hours. I'm going to show you how this tahini looks in different time frames so that you have an idea of the process and how long it takes and what it looks like. Please note that I am leaving the cover open here. I would recommend that you leave the cover closed when you're here. We're at 15 minutes in and I'm adding these seeds in portions. So I've added about 70% of the seeds here, about maybe 2 pounds. It's not really exact. And you don't have to add any other thing. You don't have to add any vegetable oil. I have not salted this. It's just sesame seeds. This is running on 15 minutes. You can see that it is still pretty chunky. It's going to kind of bunch up near the stone wheels and the sides. You don't have to worry about this too much right now. A lot of this will get incorporated later on by itself. Towards the end, you will want to kind of scrape the sides and the wheels just a little bit, but right now I wouldn't fuss too much. Again, this is at 15 minutes in. This is also when you're most likely going to experience a lot of seeds trying to jump out and kind of make a mess. So just keep that lid closed. Here we're at 30 minutes. You can see that the tahini here is a lot smoother, less chunky. At 30 minutes, I still haven't added the remaining portion of sesame seeds. I just want this to be able to get a lot more smoother before I do that. When you add it, it is totally up to you. I just decided to wait a little bit. In the end, it really won't matter too much because I'm planning to run this overnight. Here we're at 1 hour in, and you can see that I've added the remaining portion of sesame seeds, and this is the entirety of the tahini that we're going to make. So you can see that it's gotten a lot less chunky, but you still got a lot of clumping here, and it's still going to take a little bit of time. So I'm just going to keep letting it run. Here we're at the 2-hour mark, and you can see that the mixture has gotten a lot more liquidy, and that occurs as the seeds are pulverized, the oils come out, and the bits and pieces of seeds are being ground very, very fine. You can see that there's still some chunks in there, and we're opting for a very smooth tahini, so we're going to keep letting it run. If you like chunky tahini, and that's totally up to you, some people like chunky peanut butter, you can stop here and use as is. There's really no detriment, but the point of the melanger here is to be able to get it super, super smooth. So here we're at 4 hours, and this is when I start scraping down the sides and the wheels. You can pause the melanger for a few minutes and you won't cause any harm. I use a silicone spatula to do this so that it doesn't scratch any of the stone wheels or any of the metal sides, and that helps get all the chunks into the mixture so that you have an even grind. Again, this is at 4 hours, getting a lot more liquidy here. So here's what the melanger looks like now as it's run overnight. This machine doesn't really overheat too much, so as long as you have a pretty secure surface, I wouldn't worry too much. Obviously, make sure it's on a sturdy surface away from the edge of the table. You could even put it on the floor as long as you have something down. So this is overnight status. This is about 8 hours overnight. Obviously, you can still run it as long as you like, but at this point, about 99% of this mixture has turned into liquid that is very pleasing to the palate. Your tahini is ready. You can pour it into a mason jar, an airtight, any kind of jar that or container. You can put it in there. I would stay away from anything that has stored maybe garlic or anything that has a very strong smell, because tahini has oils, and oils will absorb other odors. As this sits in your fridge or freezer, it may thicken or separate, and that's completely fine. Just give it a stir before you use it. If you decide to freeze this, just make sure that it's away from anything that has a strong smell. I would use this within 3 to 6 months of making it. What you're really concerned with is the breakdown of oils. So just make sure before you use it, it doesn't smell rancid or sour. I hope you enjoyed this, and happy tahini making.